To Jeff Koinange Live. It's getting hot here with Senators Kipchumba Murkomen and Kimani Wamatangi. Senator Wamatangi, there's some serious allegations there made by Senator Murkomen a moment ago. Here's your window, your opportunity. You respond.
Yes, Jeff. Let me say to my good friend Senator Murkomen that I believe he can take my advice. When Senator Murkomen was going to get married, Jeff, when he was going to get married,
I know where he's going.
when he was going to get married in London, he found me as his muse there, and so I have a right to speak like his father. And Murkomen, you remember that I'm the one who counted your goats. Now let me advise you as my friend also, because you are young, and you are not the age of either the president. I'm sure even the deputy president is slightly older than you. It is important because, as I said earlier, these gentlemen have eaten the salt of politics more than you have, and more than I have too. And you never know. These gentlemen can find it in themselves to reconcile and come together. But when you use such language, when you say the president is having an inferiority complex, and use tough and harsh words, it makes even a reconciliation difficult, even for the deputy president, who is my friend, who is my very good friend. And I will be saying this. It is always good one to employ humility, be measured in what you say. Definitely political differences do arise, and we are the first to acknowledge as members of Jubilee. I do too, like you did, that we have a situation that must be dealt with in Jubilee. And by the way, it's also important to remember that men can disagree honorably. They agree to disagree. And finally, if the political union is over, they can still end it honorably, serve their term, because me and you know the constitutional requirement that if a governor or deputy governor or president and his deputy are elected, they would serve to the last of their day. And when the election comes, the vote belongs to the people. If the deputy president is running, then the Kenyans will decide who they want to elect. And I believe no one, if it is God's will and decision that he will be elected as president, he will be elected as president. If he is not, even if we fought and killed each other, he would not be elected if it's not God's will. And so I would want to urge Senator Murkomen and others like myself and all of us around the two. And that's what I referred to earlier. Let us not be the ones who light the fire, who use the language that is irreconcilable, or that makes wounds even worse. But let's realize that the house we started in as a good, beautiful house that looks into the future is now threatened to crumble, and to be swept by the wind. So
there you go,
Jeff. What I would be saying is exactly what I have said in the last choice that you gave me to speak. That one, these two gentlemen owe the country. They owe the country either to decide to lead the country up to 2022 to prosperity, or leave this nation divided. If they disagree politically, they must realize that they have a mandate to serve the country until their last day in office. The two of them, as they were elected.
Good.
And on that day, once they exit, they can go their different ways.
Absolutely.
Whichever way they have to go.
Right.
This country will continue. We have a constitution that will take us into the future. We have laws. We have other Kenyans who can also serve. So I would want to even urge Kenyans, by and large, let us not be sold to this one narrative that the country is going to burn tomorrow.
Okay.
That there will be no future. We have a delivery to make. Let me make my last point on this, Jeff. I campaigned with this team. From the year 2013 up to today. Sometimes when I look back at the promises that we made to the people of Kenya, and what we are doing and saying today, I shudder to even imagine that Kenyans had hope. They had faith in us that we were going to deliver. Now look at all this talk. And so, Murkomen, I want you to stand on the sidelines of reconciliation and making sure that even if there will be continued disagreements, even if these two gentlemen don't see eye to eye at this time, let us make sure that we serve the people of Kenya until the time when you said we are going to serve the people, and let's allow these gentlemen either to come together on their own or part honorably, but this country continues.
Yeah, gentlemen, what I get from you both. Hold on, Senator Murkomen. Hold on.
There's one thing I cannot agree.
Hold on.
Just one thing.
Hold on. Can I just say something? Thank you. I lost my train of thought. Okay. In politics, there's no such thing as enemies. It's just interest. That's what you guys are saying. Because Senator Murkomen, let's face it, the moment the handshake happened, it was over for one side of Jubilee. Let's face it. Nobody's saying this. Say it.
Jeff, first of all, I appreciate what Senator Wamatangi is saying. He's my friend, and all the good things he has said about me. But I just want to tell him that the difference between me and him is that one of the reasons why Uhuru Kenyatta liked working close with me was because I say things as they are. And until we say things as they are, we are not going to be able to solve the problem. And the problem we have in the country now is that the deputy president and the people around the deputy president and anybody associated with the deputy president, people are being removed from office.
You've already
because
said
their
that.
names look
You've
like
already
the one
said
for
that.
deputy president.
Answer the question. When Raila Odinga came into the equation.
And Jeff, just no. But you need to get one thing. Forget about that's not. Please, Jeff. I don't want in this debate for us to blame Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga, like any other opposition leader, would look for every other opportunity to bring down their competitors. This is not about Raila Odinga. I am telling you that even though some of us, and if you see the deputy president and many other people silent, I am tonight speaking on behalf of the silent, suffering majority. People who are being punished and tortured for their only one mistake, believing in the deputy president going forward.
No, listen.
And for
Senator
voting for Uhuru
Murkomen,
Kenyatta. There are people who are now, I'm just, you have to say it.
Okay,
because let us stop this nonsense as Jubilee supporters of trying to shift our blame and use Raila Odinga as a bogeyman. The problems that are bedeviling the deputy president has nothing to do with Raila Odinga. It has everything to do with Uhuru Kenyatta planning by himself to go and get someone else.
Okay, let me
so that he can countermand his deputy and check him.
Okay, let me put it in another way.
About the handshake is a beautiful thing.
Okay, let me put it in another way. If it comes to Raila versus Ruto in 22.
Yes?
Yeah. Your thoughts?
2022, by the way, first of all, I agree with Kimani Wamatangi that as a nation, we shouldn't be sold fear. Even the difference between President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy and any of us should not threaten the peaceful coexistence of Kenyans anywhere in the country.
You going to answer my question?
We really hope, as a person, as Murkomen, who is a good friend of Raila Odinga and whom I've worked with, I really hope that the contest in 2022 will be Raila Odinga and William Ruto. It will be a very good contest. And for sure, either of them deserves to be the president of Kenya. And given equal opportunities to compete, the best candidate will win. You know for sure I will be supporting the deputy president. But if Raila Odinga was to win, we are Democrats, we will congratulate him and support him. That is not in doubt for me for 2022. And it's not to mean that we should... I saw some people saying, we should allow Raila Odinga to run alone. No, everybody is going to compete for that seat.
Okay.
The only difference we are saying is that if you are a Jubilee member,
yes,
or you are a Jubilee leader, we in the Jubilee will have our candidate, and at the first instance, we'll be supporting Deputy President to win the candidature of the party.
Let me ask you this.
If he wins the candidate of the party, we will be very happy to face Raila Odinga with him.
You know who else agrees with you, Senator Murkomen? David Morathe. He calls this a Mandela moment. You agree?
Well, I think I disagree with him entirely on the question of the Mandela moment. First of all, if If Mandela was in the situation of Raila Odinga, you know for sure he would not even be running for elections in 2022. By that period of time and age, and having sacrificed everything for his country for 27 years, Nelson Mandela was not greedy for power. He was not trying to outfox others. He did not create scenarios that you have seen our friend Raila Odinga has created in this country. He did not put the country in brinks of, conflict and so forth. So for sure, please, let's not compare, night and day.
Senator Wamatangi, it seems like Senator Murkomen is speaking from both sides of his mouth. Which side do we agree with?
Jeff, first, I want to remind our viewers and remind Murkomen that if there's anything that we should have learned as a country by now, we should have learned from the elections of 2002 when Moi Kibaki was elected against odds, big odds. And then again come the election of Uhuru Kenyatta as president, against big odds. And we must tell ourselves clearly as politicians, as political leaders, that this thing is not in our hands all the time, the way politicians think, that you can sit to predetermine that this is going to be Raila Odinga taking this, or it's going to be William Ruto taking this. The way it has happened in the last two elections when we have had a new president, that must say something to political leaders. It can just be decided. Remember, Jeff, how did Kibaki become president? Who thought that at that time he would take it? During that, Anatosha. Or even during Uhuru Kenyatta, when he was with William Ruto. So let's not be... let's not bow down on bravado and chest thumping. Number two, let me say this, Jeff, that William Ruto has every right to run for president in this country. He has every right. Raila Amolo Odinga has every right to run in this country. But one thing that you must know, Jeff, and everybody must remember, is that these two gentlemen, whether they like it or not, they're not even going to be running alone. There will be other candidates, several. We could have other surprises. And so once we condense this discussion into a do or die match between two, such that when you have the appearance of one from this side, then the other one is out there screaming, this other one appears from this, then it becomes a doomsday for the country. That narrative must stop. We have to also claim the position as Kenyans that any other person can come. We can elect any other person other than the two. This country would not have to ban because Raila Odinga does not get elected or because William Ruto is not elected. What we must believe in ourselves as a country is that we will be looking for the best. Between now and then, there are things that must be done. There are things that have been promised that are going to be done. They must be done. Is Raila Odinga wrong with Uhuru Kenyatta for having shaken hands and did what they did? No. Indeed, I've heard William Ruto many times as my friend speaking and saying, the handshake for the sake of the handshake and bringing the country together is a good thing. Up to today, we believe that is what the two of them did. Anything else that will come down to political competition for the position of president will be determined by the people of this country through the ballot. Period. Not all this talk that you hear that side claiming we are going to do this, we are going to do that. The people of Kenya, the way you see them doing every time when we call an election, lining up from the wee hours of the morning, quietly casting their vote into that box, are the ones who are going to determine who will sit in the throne. And I want to remind all of those who have been making these proclamations and think that it must be me, it must be them. Even in 2011, if you had asked Uhuru Kenyatta whether he was going to be president, he would have called it a pipe dream. If you had asked Moi Kibaki in 2001, he would have called it a pipe dream until when they went to Uhuru Park. This matter will be decided by the people, but God will prevail over it.
Okay.
So I'm really in discontent and averse to this notion that every time when we have a debate, Jeff, that when the name of Raila Amolo Odinga pops up somewhere, then everybody else who is associated with the deputy president must remove their swords. That when the name of the deputy president is mentioned somewhere, every person who works with Raila Odinga must start firing. That is not the narrative of this country. And you know, when we speak of dynasties, this is when you start creating dynasties, and this is what we are not going to have. How I wish that we are going to liberate this country fully this time. I mean, why are we fighting for this constitution, Jeff? Why? Okay. If this is still the narrative we want to carry on today, 10 years to the birthday of the election, and we are still talking the way people were talking before we found our liberty, can we emancipate ourselves from this slavery and agree that, Jeff, tomorrow you can resign from that position of yours and start running and walking around this country, and Jeff Koinange can be the president of this country in the year 2022? Who said you can't? Anybody can. So I want to,
Senator, you'll end it right
close
there.
my remark with this, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to end it this way. That we must be forward-looking as a country. That these tales and stories of doom are too much. They're overwhelming our conscience. They're subliming our will to conquer and become a better country. I mean, they're making us lose hope.
Okay.
When you listen to this kind of talk,
Senator,
and we want to say this must end.
Yeah, the difference between politicians and statesmen. Politician thinks about the next election. Statesman thinks about the next generation. Gentlemen, there's no way I can let you go without touching on corruption, because even the deputy president has a great headline the other day. You guys are licking your chops now, because every scandal up until the Kemsa millionaires was all directed at you all over there. You know, from Kim Warer to whatever, you name it. But now you guys are licking your chops. You're saying, you see, we are spectators now in this. Senator Murkomen, you go first.
Jeff, first, before I get to that question, I just want to, there are a number of things that Senator Wamatangi has mentioned.
He was replying to you, sir. He was replying to you. You don't need to regurgitate.
No problem. I'm just saying in summary, I just want to say this, that it doesn't mean that what Uhuru is doing for Ruto will be the end of the country. And it doesn't mean that it's going to deny him an opportunity to serve. It's making him strong. And some of us who have sat with him have always told him that, remember these days and the things you are going through. And if you become the president of Kenya, don't touch anybody, don't persecute anybody, including Murathe. You must make sure that you become a different president. And because you are going through these difficult moments with grace, you must demonstrate the similar grace and love if you become the president of Kenya. So I believe that there are better days ahead. I believe that this is a learning curve, and it's a training ground for all of us who are going through this harassment to learn how
Senator,
to take the country.
Are we going to talk about corruption, or what do you want to do?
We are, as a Senate to start with, and as a senator, and as a leader in this country, we must acknowledge first that that is one of the biggest challenges we still deal with in the country, both in our counties and national level. It is, despite the many institutions that we have established, a lot still needs to be done. I must also say that it doesn't mean that the EACC and the DPP and all these institutions are doing nothing about corruption. There's a lot being done. What we must deal with is the politicization or the use of using or the excuse being given that in the fight against corruption, you want to charge this person and you can't charge the other one. You must, as I said earlier, many governors have been told that for as long as you walk around with the deputy president, you'll be charged. You know what happened to the Waititu for his standing his position about deputy president. He was impeached. And then when it came to Waiguru in the same situation, she was saved. We can't wait. We are joking as friends in the Senate and saying we want to see those people who are working so hard, James Orengo and the team, and Wamatangi and others, to save Waiguru, if they will be saving Governor Obado, among others.
Okay, so but why the double standard, Senator?
Kenyans are going through.
Why the double standard?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Because the double standards, because the Uhuru government in his second term has weaponized corruption as a weapon, as a political tool for winning people to support them. Because when you reach a stage of bankruptcy politically where the only way you are going to force people to stand by you is to threaten them that we will have trumped up charges against you, we will be taken to court by all means, we will be punished.
I'm sorry, are you saying trumped up charges against Waitito?
That is where we miss the point. And I am telling you, from lifestyle audit to all those discussions that the president was saying we must announce all tenders in the those were lip service, because
but are you
there
saying
are people, there are sacred cows that are supposed to be protected, and there are those who should be punished for standing with.
Are you saying trumped up charges against Waitito, against Obado? Is that what you're saying, against Waiguru? Trumped up?
No, I haven't said about. In fact, my example is not even about those governors. The governors who should be charged are all roaming out there because they are supposed to be partners of the handshake and they are close to government and they have been washed and cleaned in Capitol Hill and they are whiter than snow. So that is, Jeff, unless you don't live in Jerusalem, you know that this country is full of contradiction. And then, let me ask you, Jeff, if the Minister of Health was a Mr. Rotich, yeah, or was an ally of the Deputy President, if the PS Health was Mrs. So-and-so and was a close ally of the Deputy President, you think they would be in office today?
No,
they would have stepped out long time ago waiting to be charged.
But you don't need to tribalize,
I'm just trying to
Senator.
tell you that the double standards being exercised, the double standard being exercised there is so clear like the stars and the moon.
But that's trivializing it a little bit there, Senator. That's a low blow. That's a low blow.
I am not trivializing. I'm not trivializing unless you don't live in this country.
Wamatangi, do I live in Kenya?
Yes, yes, Jeff, let me tell you, and I hear my colleague. You know, there is no good and bad corruption. There are no sides in corruption. What sides are there in corruption? Corruption is corruption. You steal from the right, you steal from the left, you are a thief, period. And you go and associate with somebody in government or somebody in opposition or somebody who is waiting to be president or somebody who is already president, you're a thief, period. And you know why corruption continues to survive in this country is, yes, my friend Murkomen talks about weaponization of corruption, but what about segmentation of it? When you say that this one was not touched and this one is going to be touched, this one, I mean, if you are accused of corruption, if you are guilty of corruption after being found to be guilty, you must have, you know, and I must correct him because I've heard him saying that, Matangi going to protect Waiguru and whatever. I would want him to relook at his books and his records and how I have always voted against corruption. I've been very firm about that.
Except Waiguru.
Jeff. But
he says except Waiguru.
The House Murkomen that time. You should look at your records properly. But let me tell you, even though I didn't go to vote during Waiguru's time, I didn't vote. But I've seen the EACC in Waiguru's house the other day, and it is my belief that the same road they have walked with all the others, with Aisha Juma, with everybody, that is the road they should walk with everybody, including Waiguru if she's guilty, including Obado if his issues are brought to the House. Yeah. But the last thing that we should do as politicians, as leaders, is this, Jeff, is to try and pick a section and reflect them that this is happening because of this, because this is how you help corrupt people. Because they know that a voice will be coming there and saying that I'm being victimized. If evidence is brought forward, if you are accused, the best thing you do is discharge yourself. It is so easy. Discharge yourself. Say I'm not guilty. The Governor Waitito was the governor of Kiambu. Remember the journey we walked with him, and when he came to the Senate, I took a position that I was not going to be there directly accusing him because I wanted facts to come out themselves. I took a backseat. Neither did I even speak until members voted. And so, Jeff, if we want to win the war on corruption in this country, wherever we stand, first we must divorce politics and political leadership and interest away from the war against corruption. Then that way we can start having a semblance of a journey that will take us to a corrupt-free nation. Otherwise, when you give politicians the license, the opportunity to be the ones to either adjudge, choose, or categorize reasons why people are being accused of corruption, who will be judged, who will not be judged, for what reason, then you've lost the war. This is not this is not the pot of politicians. And I want to urge my friend Murkomen, stay away from corruption and this talk about let somebody who has been mentioned, let them go and discharge themselves. Once they do that, we can find a face to go and speak to our people tomorrow and tell them, you gave us a mandate to go and fight for you. We want to clean up this country, have a corrupt-free nation, and then we are getting somewhere.
Senator Murkomen,
and I believe verily, the constitution we have right now will be able to discharge us. There is no possibility at all in this country that there is anyone right now, either with the political power, with the tools that can defeat the spirit of this constitution. It is not possible.
Senator Murkomen,
somebody can do it today. They can try to do it tomorrow. Eventually. Eventually. And they'll be brought down by the force of justice. It will prevail.
Senator Murkomen, are you going to stay away from corruption? You're being asked by your colleague.
First of all, we have said the same thing with Senator Wamatangi. We have spoken the same thing. And I want to tell Senator Wamatangi, congratulations. The problem of Kenya at the moment is politicization or weaponizing the war against corruption for political good, for political gain by those who have the authority. And that's why, independent institutions are being bended to look at this place, and people are being, pushed to be charged with Trump charges and so forth and so forth. I have always stayed away from corruption, Jeff, and it's important for every leader. If I didn't stay away from corruption, I would not be here speaking, And I have seen many colleagues running around saying, I can't even speak, I can't even say anything, I am going to be charged, there is another plot I had somewhere, there is a what I had where they will charge me. For me, I go home, I sleep, my conscience is clear. Everything I have or I don't have is because, it was not possible not to have it or to have it. But for me, I want to say as an observer, or as a close observer of the events that are happening in the Uhuru government, is that the biggest loss, the wasted opportunity, and the greatest pretense that has ever been announced in this country is the Handshake's objective to fight corruption, which is actually a mirage, because one partner of the Handshake runs a laundry in Upper Hill, where any person who is a suspect of corruption, once you go there and you are cleaned, you are washed, you become as clean and white as snow, your charges are dropped, and you're no longer going to have problems. Try and be politically aligned to deputy president or any other person whom the dry cleaners don't want, and you will quickly be called corrupt and be charged.
So Karen,
I wish we allowed independent institutions in this country. I wish we allowed independent institutions in this country to investigate, to recommend for charging, and also to prosecute matters of corruption independent of our political objectives. If we don't do that, and the next responsibility of the coming president of Kenya in 2022 and beyond,
so Karen,
to ensure that he lets free independent institutions to carry out that responsibility.
So Karen is not a dry cleaning, is that it? What you're saying?
Well, I don't know if there's any dry cleaner in Karen. Which side of Karen did you mean?
That side.
I don't know. I've never been to, I've never seen a dry cleaner in Karen. You will tell me if you've seen anywhere.
Let's get some reactions. The first one is from your fellow senator, Ledama Olekina. He says, we have betrayed Kenya as leaders. The executive, parliament, judiciary, please forgive us, pray for us, like you are cursing us. Your fellow senator, Ledama Olekina.
No, Ledama Olekina, I didn't know that he has he has a strong religious background. That is what would be said in part of religion, that is confessing our sins on behalf of all of us who have sinned and fallen short of God's glory. And it's a fact. I mean, if you see the things that are happening in the country, people are stealing masks, even donations. We have become laughingstock internationally. You know, we are stealing money for people who are facing a very serious pandemic, which means, you know, it is the lowest we can ever go as a country. So as a matter of fact, we are fallen short of God's glory, and as leaders, we should be ashamed that we operate and we are in leadership as such. We have failed our generation. We have failed to perform the responsibilities of our generation.
Yes, you have. On Twitter, Hashim El Moge too says, the one man, one vote, 1 shilling formula is unjust. Referring to Senator Wamatangi, divisive, discriminatory, defeats the purpose of devolution and equitable development in Kenya. Senator Wamatangi.
Yes, Jeff, I'm sure Hashim was reading from the same script you are reading when you started. Because, you started by saying that it is unfair, it is unjust, it is discriminatory. Now, Jeff, I have explained very, very clearly that the one man, one vote, 1 shilling call is a call by largely all the populous counties saying, look at our side, look at us, know that there are things that have been excluded that should have been included, and let us get to the right settings. When you are sharing revenue, input the right data, input the right settings, then everybody gets an equal share. Now, on this tweet that you read by Ledama Olekina, I want to tell Ledama Olekina, it is good, I have also heard him. Let him be part of the solution. Let him help to find that solution, and let him be part of the team that will seek that forgiveness by doing the right thing.
Okay.
But when we get to the floor and every senator digs in on from a different position, other than put their heads together, reason and reconcile based on facts.
Okay.
Then no matter, even if we prayed God for days on end, you would never. I mean, God has enabled you to walk to the Senate. He's given you a good mind. He's given you the power to read, make the right decisions. Then God will come in when you've made the right decision and hail you for having done the right thing.
Okay.
Otherwise, at that rate, we might start even blaming God himself for not doing what we should do.
Okay, one more tweet. Our doll says, corruption is a form of public cancer, and Kenya has got it bad. You can't have corruption without corrupt people. Let's begin from there. Gentlemen, we are winding up. We have actually overrun our time, but if I give you a minute each, will you keep to a minute? Just to summarize, if you're over a minute, I'll cut you off. Can you stick to 60 seconds each? Can we agree to that at least? As members of one party, both of you? Okay, Senator Wamatangi, you go first. You got 60 seconds. Tick tock, tick tock.
Thank you, Jeff. Let me thank you for giving us the opportunity to come and converse with Kenyans on these big issues that we've spoken about. I just want to assure Kenyans, with the 30 seconds remaining, that we still have hope, that we can redeem this country, and we should keep hope alive. I'm sure we can reinvent ourselves, and I don't want anyone to go to bed tonight who was watching us thinking or feeling like there's no hope for tomorrow, or like we are looking at doomsday if things don't happen the way many political leaders predict. If this one doesn't do that or that one doesn't do this, we are resilient as a country, and we've got what it takes. We are the one who got actually most of the politicians who are there today. We vote them in; they don't vote us. So this premonition, I want to urge Kenyans, let it die. Vote in the right people, give them the mandate. When they don't serve, kick them out.
60 seconds.
That way we have a good country.
Done.
We learn from, Jeff, I've learned a lot from the late Lee Kuan Yew, the president of Singapore.
Yeah, from third world to first. I know the book.
Read his book. Third world to first. It's unbelievable what one man with the right mind, the right trajectory can do for a country.
That's more than 60 seconds.
The country, and he leaves a legacy that's eternal. Thank you.
All right, you guys can't even agree on 60 seconds. I just gave you some leniency. Now, it's taken 2 minutes. Murkomen, are you going to stick to your 60 seconds?
You will give me some leniency. Thank you, Jeff. First of all, I'd like to say to all Kenyans that as leaders, I can promise, as Kipchumba Murkomen, I can promise the Kenyan people that I will do my best to pursue the Ubuntu spirit that brings our country together, that you are because I am, that we will be able to look at each other, like the Bible says, that if Lamu is hurting, Kiambu is hurting, if Elgeyo Marakwet is hurting, Turkana is hurting. So that in every political decision we'll make, we'll put the best interests of the country at heart, and to make sure that as in our generation, I know it may not be possible for Murkomen to change the whole country or to bend the course of history.
60 seconds.
But the small things we do, the small things like we are trying to do in the Senate to find a working relationship, to find equity for the nation, those small things contribute to making Kenya a better place to live in.
Okay.
And for that reason, therefore, I will say that I will do everything possible, and we'll do everything possible as leaders to find ways that will keep our country together and to ensure that corruption becomes a thing of the past.
All right. Gentlemen, we'll have to take this up another time, but thanks so much for your time. Senator Kimani Wamatangi of Kiambu, Senator Kipchumba Murkomen, Elgeyo Marakwet, thank you, gentlemen, for your time. Really appreciate it. And good luck on Tuesday. And, stop letting Kenyans down. That's all I can say. Please.
Thank you, Jeff.
So, let's at least agree on that.
Thank you, Jeff.
And thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you very much.
Asante sana. Thank you for joining us. Remember, every Wednesday, it's all about those 3 letters on the keyboard that follow each other. JKL. Thanks for being a part of the show. Keep tweeting at Koinange Jeff, at Citizen TV Kenya, the hashtag JKLIVE. As I keep saying, and I'll always keep saying, let's keep talking. Because the minute we stop talking is the minute we start fighting. And you don't want to go down that slippery slope. Think about that. Good night. Good luck. God bless Kenya.